to say Terence Crawford.
Yes.
You know, that fight's gonna happen. Hopefully he beats Jeff Horn and gets that belt. And like I said, I want to be undisputed welterweight champion of the world.
Wait till he get a belt.
Yeah.
He ain't did nothing in the welterweight today.
You
When he
have
get
did
a belt,
nothing.
when he
You
get a
have
belt,
did nothing.
you want to
You have
go
did
over
nothing.
there. Keith Thurman want to go over there, and now y'all want to say, "Oh, I ain't fought nobody," but I got a belt now, so
Okay.
why?
Okay. Sean Porter got a belt too.
He dog at the welterweight division, and he gotta take a back seat and take that 60-40 or 7-30, wherever we give him.
Done with everybody else but Terence Crawford. Can we just do Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford?
I mean, that could happen. We gotta see how it go. But you know, like I said, I can move up to 160 and fight Canelo Alvarez.
Look, I want to get.
Who mans is this? Get him the fuck out of here.
So what do I do, YouTube? It's your boy King David in this thing, and I'm back at y'all again with another video. Okay, so before we get going on the video, man, y'all know what to do. Go ahead, hit the like button, and if you're new here, be sure to subscribe one time for your boy, so we can continue to grow like we need to grow on this channel, man. Y'all know what time it is, man. Yes, sir. Alright, so y'all see what the title of the video is, man. 5 reasons why Errol Spence gets destroyed by Terence Bud Crawford. You know what I mean? So I know it's a lot of people who have this fight picked as like a 50-50 fight. You know what I mean? I know it's a lot of people out there that has this as a 50-50 fight. I know that the media portrays this as a 50-50 fight. All you hear is 50-50 fight, 50-50 fight, 50-50 fight, 50-50 fight. But the reality of the situation is this is not a 50-50 fight. Not at all. You know what I mean? Not at all. Errol Spence has a chance to win, but a very small chance to win, right? If I had to give this fight a percentage, I'd say it'd be more like 80-20, right? Like the same type of offer that Errol Spence was trying to give the Bud Crawford for a fight. 80-20. Those are the odds I give Errol Spence to beat Terence Crawford. 20%. Right? This is a 80-20 fight. Nowhere near a 50-50 fight. Right? Nowhere near a 50-50 fight. Despite what all the media and all the fanboys out there are running their mouth about, this ain't no damn 50-50 fight. Right? And I'm gonna break this motherfucker down for you as to why this ain't no 50-50 fight, right? 5 reasons why Terence Bud Crawford will destroy Errol Spence Jr. Right? Okay, so cool, bro. Let me get right on into it. So, reason number 1 why Terence Bud Crawford will destroy Errol Spence Jr. He's simply a better fighter. He's simply a better fighter, right? If Errol Spence and Terence Crawford were the same size, with the same length arms, the same length legs, the same body frame, the same size, the same everything, I think most people would agree that Terence Crawford would win the fight because he's the more skilled fighter. Even if you gave him the same speed and the same physical attributes. Once again, most people would agree that Terence Crawford would win the fight because he's the more skilled fighter, right? He's more skilled all the way across the board, right? But if you take away those attributes, if you give Terence Crawford back his attributes and you give Errol Spence his attributes, right? Let's just compare them. Terence Crawford got the better speed. Not even debatable at all. Better foot speed, better hand speed. Get out of here. Don't even try to argue that shit. Terence Crawford got the better power. Point blank, period, in the discussion. 10 straight knockout victories in a row at welterweight versus 12-round decision versus Danny Garcia. 12-round decision versus Sean Porter. 12-round decision versus Mikey Garcia. 12-round decision versus Danny Garcia. Right? A Ugas stoppage. Right? When in a fight where Ugas ain't touched the ground not one time. versus Terence Crawford putting Sean Porter on the ground, knocking out Mean Machine, knocking out Amir Khan, knocking out Sean Porter, knocking out Kell Brook, right? Knocking out everybody that he's in the ring with versus Errol Spence, who seems to be going the distance with everybody he's in a ring with, who seems to be going the distance with everybody who's a step up in competition for him, right? So Terence Bud Crawford, you would have to give him the power edge over Errol Spence, point blank period, right? Then you talk about technical ability, right? Technical skills, right? To me, when you're talking about technical skills, you got to go on the defense. Terence Bud Crawford is one of the least hit fighters in boxing, right? He's on the list for the top least hit fighters in boxing. Errol Spence is not. So technical ability, you got to give it to a Terence Bud Crawford, right? Terence Bud Crawford got the more tools in the toolbox, right? He can fight off his back foot. He can fight on his front foot, on the inside. He can use his jab, right? He can fight on the inside. He can counter punch. He can pot shot. He can do all these things and win a fight. He can fight southpaw. He can fight orthodox. He can do all these things and win a fight when Errol Spence can only fight one way, at one pace, period, right? Straight up and down, no special effects, like Floyd Mayweather would say, right? So, all in all, Terence Crawford is a better fighter. He just is. He just is. I know it's going to be some Errol Spence fanboys that's going to disagree with it. Y'all niggas going to be crying your eyes out. No way, KD. There's no way you can say that he's a better fighter, KD. Wait till July 29th. No, nigga, you wait till July 29th. Because you going to be the one changing your goddamn screen name, right? Deleting all your comments on YouTube after Errol Spence gets destroyed by Terence Bud Crawford. But that's the first reason why he gets destroyed. Terence Crawford is simply a better fighter. Point blank period, end of discussion, right? The second reason why Terence Crawford destroys Errol Spence Jr. is that Errol Spence is too predictable. He's too predictable, right? He's too predictable, right? It's almost never a good thing to be predictable, but one of the worst situations / scenarios to be predictable is in a boxing ring. You know why? Because all it takes is one punch that you don't see at the right time to end the fight, right? And if I know what kind of punch I need to throw in order to end the fight, all I need to know is when to throw it. And it's a lot easier for me to decide when to throw it when I know what the fuck you gonna do, right? And that's the issue with being predictable, which is what Errol Spence does. Errol Spence throws his punches at the same speed, at the same time, with the same punch sequence every single time, right? Every single time. It's not gonna take much time for an elite counterpuncher like a Terence Bud Crawford to pick up the timing, to pick up the speed, to pick up the pace, and find that one punch to seriously hurt Errol Spence and get him the fuck up out of there, right? So that's the second reason why Errol Spence is gonna get destroyed by Terence Bud Crawford. It's only a matter of time until Terence Crawford figures out exactly what Errol Spence is trying to do and put a stop to it, right? So that's the second reason, right? Now the third reason has a lot to do with Errol Spence himself and his lack of preparation for the fight in general, right? And that's the long layoff. Listen, Errol Spence wouldn't be able to beat Terence Bud Crawford at his peak prime, right? He wouldn't be able to do it at his peak prime, and I broke down why earlier in the video, talking about how Terence Crawford is simply a better fighter, right? He wouldn't be able to beat Bud Crawford at his peak prime. So why in the fuck would he be able to do it after a year-long layoff? Why in the fuck would Errol Spence be able to beat Terence Crawford, even though he wouldn't be able to do it at his peak prime, but would be able to do it after a year-long layoff, right? Ring rust is a real thing, right? Ring rust is a real thing. So whatever Errol Spence is, as the fighter he is, he's a notch lower because of the ring rust, right? And I said it before and I'll say it again. Errol Spence at his peak prime, right? Active and available, wouldn't be able to beat a Terence Bud Crawford. So how in the fuck would he be able to beat a Terence Bud Crawford coming off of a year layoff and ring rust, right? It makes zero sense. It makes zero sense. For Errol Spence to even have a shot at beating a Terence Crawford, he would need to be at beyond his peak. He would need to be someone besides himself in reality. But if he's gonna be himself, he should be the absolute best version of himself, which he's not gonna be because he's coming off of a long layoff. So that's the third reason why he gets destroyed by a Terence Bud Crawford, right? Now the fourth reason he gets destroyed by a Terence Bud Crawford is Errol Spence lacks the experience. And I know what the fanboys are going to say. What do you mean Errol lacks the experience, KD? Errol got the better resume. Errol Spence did all the heavy lifting, KD. He did all the heavy lifting, right? Which ain't nothing but a pile of bullshit anyway, right? But for the sake of the argument, I'm not talking about all the big name fluff opponents that Errol Spence got on his resume. I'm talking about the diversity in competition, right? When Errol Spence gets in the ring with a Terence Bud Crawford, he's getting in the ring with a very versatile guy with several different skill sets. But one of the main skill sets that Terence Bud Crawford has is his ability to use his legs, right? His ability to use his legs and fight off his back foot, right? Who on Errol Spence's resume has he fought that has those skills? I'll wait. I'll wait. Who has Errol Spence fought that has those skills, that has the ability to fight off their back foot, use their jab, be slick? Who has Errol Spence fought that's like that? Absolutely nobody. Not one person you can name on Errol Spence's resume has any kind of slickness, was able to use their legs to any kind of degree. Point blank period, end of discussion, right? So when he gets himself in a ring with a Terence Bud Crawford, a guy who's not only slick, a guy that not only is able to use his legs, a guy that not only is one of the best counter punchers in boxing, but has the boxing IQ of someone that is able to make adjustments on the slide. Tell me what kind of recipe that spells for Errol Spence Jr. That's an element that Errol Spence has yet to see as a pro. So he's supposed to get in there with one of the best, most slickest fighters in the Terence Bud Crawford and somehow be able to make up the difference. Like, y'all gotta make this shit make sense, bro. Y'all gotta make it make sense, bro. He's supposed to get in there with a style he ain't ever seen as a pro and somehow be good enough to pull out the victory. Make it make sense, y'all. Make it make sense, right? But that's the fourth reason that Errol Spence is gonna get destroyed by Terence Bud Crawford. But the fifth and final reason that Errol Spence is gonna get destroyed by Terence Bud Crawford is because Errol Spence don't live the life of a boxer. He don't live the life as a boxer, and that might not matter against lesser opponents. That might not matter against your Dennis Ugas. That might not matter against Sean Porter. That might not have mattered versus Danny Garcia. That might not have mattered against Mikey Garcia. But it matters against a Terence Bud Crawford. Right? A guy that has you outmatched in skills and talent, speed and technical ability. A guy that don't ever have to get ready because he stay ready. A guy that lives and trains the life of a boxer, right? Eats, sleeps, and breathes boxing, right? I'm not even sure if Terence Crawford drinks. I don't think he does, but I don't know. But eats, sleeps, and breathes boxing, right? Terence Bud Crawford was 5 pounds outside of weight a year ago, right? Terence Bud Crawford stays on weight, stays in shape, stays in the gym, and doesn't drink and drive and flip cars over, right? Which is another part of this, right? That Errol Spence doesn't live the life of a boxer, so much so that his recklessness and his arrogance caused him to injure himself in a car accident and brutally hurt his body in the worst possible way, so much so that he's really not the same fighter that he was prior to the accident, right? And I've already made it very clear that even if he was the best version of himself, he still would have got his ass whooped. So if he was his best self and still would have got his ass whooped, what does that say about this new version of Errol, who's a lesser version of himself, getting in the ring with a pound for pound king Terence Bud Crawford? What does that say, right? What does that say, right? This new Errol, post car accident, post eye injury, getting in the ring with a guy who would have beat him at his prime, the guy who he needed to take the easy route in order to avoid in the first place, right? But all in all, it's like this. At the end of the day, Terence Bud Crawford is going to destroy Errol Spence Jr. It's what would have happened. It's what could have happened. And it's what's gonna happen on July 29th. We got 10 days left, y'all, until we all get to witness the fish fry with our own 2 eyes. But let me know what y'all think, man. Hit it up in the comment section below. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. And everybody, and I do mean everybody, be sure to hit the goddamn like button on your way out. But until next time, bro, I'ma holla at y'all, man. Peace.
Mike, Spence and Crawford are fighting. Who wins?
I think after seeing their fight, Porter and Crawford, I think you've got to lean towards Crawford now.
With Spence and Crawford.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Everybody know who won that fight. It's like Errol Spence.
Okay.
Errol Spence, he be looking young and not up moving 6 rounds.
Crawford's a bad boy, but Spence is a pressure cooker, so if he can maintain with Crawford early, then he can make a good fight. But if he ain't on his game, it might be right.
Crawford reminds me of me, bro. So I'm pretty sure you know how I feel about that. Ain't nobody else gonna say that, but I'ma say it. The way he approached that shit, he don't see none of them guys. He don't care nothing about none of them guys.
Got him! Got him!
Look at this dude.
Why wouldn't I?
You a smart man, but not that smart.